What's up, everyone? It is Atia here at Booking It with Atia, and today we are back for day 2 of my Kwanzaa book recommendations. Today is all about Kujichagulia, which is the principle of self-determination, and I have, once again, 7 book recommendations that are Black authored and featuring Black characters, all with themes of determining yourself and who you are, your worth, and we're not going to jump right in. If you don't know what Kwanzaa is, Atia from the past is going to help us out with that. Created by Dr. Malana Karinga in 1966, Kwanzaa is a week-long African-American and Pan-African holiday taking place December 26th through January 1st. Kwanzaa celebrates family, community, and culture and blends communitarian values and the practices of continental African and African American cultures. Each day of the week-long holiday focuses on one of the Nguzo Saba, or the 7 principles. Before we dive right in, I do want to encourage you to check out my Etsy and my Bonfire to get yourself some bookmarks or some merch. And if you want to support the channel even more, you can consider becoming a Patreon or a community member. Starting off with book number 1 on this recommendations list is going to be actually a recent read for me, and that is I, Medusa by Ayana Gray. Medi has spent her whole life as a footnote in someone else's story, out of place next to her beautiful immortal sisters and her parents, both gods, albeit minor ones. She dreams of leaving her family's island for a life of adventure. So when she catches the eye of the goddess Athena, who invites her to train as an esteemed priestess in her temple, Medi leaps at the chance to see the world beyond her home. In Athens' colorful market streets and clandestine chambers of the temple, Medi flourishes in her role as Athena's favorite acolyte, getting her first taste of purpose and power. But when she is noticed by another Olympian, Poseidon, a drunken night between a girl and god ends in violence, and the course of Medi's promising future is suddenly and irrevocably altered. Her locks transformed into snakes as punishment for a crime she did not commit. Medusa must embrace a new identity, not as a victim, but as a vigilante, and with it the chance to write her own story as mortal, martyr, and myth. The next book up is Capri by Jaquel Ajay. She's a homie hopper, she's confused, she doesn't take accountability for anything, she's effing her way through all her brother's friends. I've heard more than a few of those when people talk about me, and I've even felt the same way my damn self. I didn't know what I wanted. I knew what I wanted. I wanted marriage, love, and the commitment that I made to my husband, ex-husband. I found myself confused after my divorce to Naheem. It would have been easier to stay and forgive him for something that broke me. It would have been easier for him to stay and forgive me for sleeping with one of his friends. Nothing worth ever having is easy. My personal life aside, let's also remember I'm that girl. The girl who let that shit go with one hand, popping my shoulder out of place. I'm that same girl that protected both my sister-in-laws. I'm also that girl that rides with the infernal gods and can hold my own on a bike. Next up, we have Skin by Ibi Zoboi. 15-year-old Marisol is the daughter of a Sukoya. Every new moon, she sheds her skin like the many women before her, shifting into a fireball witch who must fly into the night and slowly sip from the lives of others to sustain her own. But Brooklyn is no place for fireball witches with all its bright lights, shut windows, and bolt-locked doors. While Marisol hoped they would leave their old traditions behind when they emigrated from the islands, she knows this will never happen while she remains ensnared by the one person who keeps her chained to her magical past, her mother. 17-year-old Genevieve is the daughter of a college professor and a newly minted older half-sister of twins. Her worsening skin condition and the baby's constant wailing keep her up at night when she stares at the dark sky with a deep longing to inhale it all. She hopes to quench the hunger that gnaws at her, one that seems to reach for some memory of her estranged mother. When the new nanny arrives to help with the twins, a family secret connecting her to Marisol is revealed, and Jen begins to find answers to questions she hasn't ever thought to ask. But the girls soon discover that the very skin keeping their flames locked beneath the surface may be more explosive to the relationships around them than any ancient magic. Then we have The Divorcetante by Mia Heitzelman. Ebony Grace Livingston was raised to be flawless. A debutante turned elite event planner, she built a life around breathtaking galas, whispered exclusives, and the kind of connections money can't buy. But when her husband's betrayal turns her into high society's juiciest scandal, Ebony decides she's done curating perfection for everyone but herself. With a high-profile wedding to pull off, a social media following obsessed with her every move, and a no-nonsense life coach reminding her that the real glow-up starts from within, Ebony is ready to write her next chapter on her own terms. The only thing standing in her way, Lincoln Bridges, the maddeningly meticulous architect overseeing the historic venue she needs to transform. He's stubborn, insufferably charming, and worst of all, the one man who saw through her marriage before she did. Their creative clashes reignite old wounds, unfinished businesses, and the kind of chemistry that once felt inevitable. But in a world where power is played in private lounges, loyalty is measured in invitations, and champagne flows as freely as the gossip, Ebony will have to decide if rewriting her future means making room for something real. Book number 5 is Psycho Pomp and Circumstance by Eden Royce. Fee St. Margaret is a daughter of the Reconstruction, born to a family of free Black business owners in New Charleston. Coddled to within an inch of her life by a mother who refuses to let her daughter live a life other than the one she dictates, Fee yearns to demonstrate she's capable of more than simply marrying well. When word arrives that her Aunt Cleo, long estranged from the family, has passed away, Fee risks her mother's wrath to step up and accept the role of Pomp, the highly honored duty of planning the funeral service. Traveling alone to the town of Horizon and her aunt's unsettling home, Fee soon discovers that visions and shadows beckon from every reflective surface, and that some secrets transcend the borders of life and death. The next one we have is I'll Be Gone for Christmas by Georgia K. Boone. B. Tyler needs a break. In the bustling San Francisco tech community, no one ever seems to stand still, especially her perfect sister and business partner, Beth. So when her best friend suggests a getaway on the widely popular house swap app Vacate, B decides a countryside retreat might be exactly what she needs. Clover Mills has had a year. Between losing her mother and making the complicated decision to leave her fiance, sticking around the idyllic Christmas-obsessed town of Salem, Ohio just doesn't feel right. So when she hears about Vacate, she jumps at the chance to spend the holidays in the unfamiliar city of San Francisco. Soon enough, B is living in Clover's cozy Salem cottage, and Clover is living in B's sleek San Francisco apartment. As Clover can't seem to stop running into B's frustratingly gorgeous sister Beth, and B finds herself spending more and more time with Clover's ultra-charming ex-fiancé Knox, the two women realize that this Christmas they may find just what they were looking for and more. Book number 7 in this recommendation is going to be James by Percival Everett. When the enslaved Jim overhears that he is about to be sold to a man in New Orleans, separated from his wife and daughter forever, he decides to hide on nearby Jackson Island until he can formulate a plan. Meanwhile, Huck Finn has faked his own death to escape his violent father, recently returned to town. As all readers of American literature know, thus begins the dangerous and transcendent journey by raft down the Mississippi River toward the elusive and too often unreliable promise of the free states and beyond. While many narrative set pieces of the adventures of Huckleberry Finn remain in place, floods and storms, stumbling across both unexpected death and unexpected treasure and the myriad stopping points along the river's banks, encountering the scam artist posing as a Duke and Dauphin, Jim's agency, intelligence, and compassion are shown in a radically new light, brimming with the electrifying humor and lacerating observations that have made Everett a literary icon and one of the most decorated writers of our lifetime. James is destined to be a major publishing event and a cornerstone of 21st century American literature. And that wraps up our 7 recommendations for day 2 of these Kwanzaa Recs. I highly recommend all of the books that I recommended today. Make sure you have hit the notification bell so you are notified when I put out a new video, because you are getting a new video tomorrow because I'm dropping at least a video a day during Kwanzaa. Make sure to hit the like button and comment down below, are there any books you would add to this list that have themes of Kujichagulia or self-determination? If you want to further support me as an independent creator, you can check out my Etsy shop, my bonfire, or consider subscribing monthly to be a Patreon member or a community member. My Discord as well as all of my socials are linked down below, and I will see you in another video. Bye!
Weakness showing, I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man, I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo, got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Poking copywriting, so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm